Hi, this is Regina of Morale Fiber. Thanks for joining me for this free tutorial for the Basic Bikini Cup. I'm going to go over how to create different sizes of bikini cups, including the one shown here, the teal cup on this halter top that I made. I'm going to show how to make a couple different sizes on the blog post, and this video is supplementary to that blog post. So I'm going to make the teal cup shown on the bottom right of the screen. Here's a snapshot of the different sizes of cups and the different shapes you can make based on the different ways that I show how to manipulate the shape. Those are gone over all in my blog posts. I'm going to link that in the description below the video. And to get started, I'm going to show you up close in front of the camera a couple of those different sizes. The maroon bikini pair I've got shown here in front of the camera is worked in half double crochet. It has a foundation length of 10 stitches, so that's 12 chains to start. And the increase style is +4, so it adds 4 stitches every row. And the increases are worked in 2 half double, chain 1, 2 half doubles at the top. As you can see, we build upward with that middle increase to make the cups pointier, and here we can see the +4 increase style makes a fairly flat and roomy bikini style cup. There's not a ton of curve at the bottom. There's a nice defined point, and as you can see, we have this central length that we work back and forth across, working the increase at the center. So there's that shape. That's probably my favorite shape. That's the one we're going to make in the video. Here's a couple others. We have a single crochet cup with the foundation length is the same as the last one, it's 10, but the increase style is +2, so we have a less dramatic increase at the top. It's a little more of a rounded cup, and it's tighter because that single crochet stitching is a little tighter. So there's a comparison of those two. Here we have a very short central foundation of 5 with double crochet worked back and forth in an increased style of +4. So that's got a very rounded bottom. It's good for a specific shape that I'm going to show you in the next video. It's just a little bit different. So this is an overview of a couple of the different shapes. Here we have more cups worked in half double. One of these has a foundation length of 15, the other has a foundation of 10. So there's a side-by-side comparison of those two lengths and how they change the size, even when they're worked in the same stitch. Okay, so it's kind of a quick overview. Again, there's more details on the blog post. Right now we're going to work this style of cup, the half double crochet with a foundation length of 10 with +4 added every row. And once you have the 2 cups completed, you can arrange them a couple of different ways. One with the increases up, like a traditional bikini. We have a halter top style with the increases inward, so that'd be toward the center of the chest. This one with the increases outward, you don't see as often, but it's another option. And there's just limitless possibility for putting these together, which I will cover ways, kind of strategies to create your own unique halter tops in the second video. So for these bikini tops, I use number 4 or worsted weight cotton or cotton blend yarn. I never use acrylic, it's too scratchy, it's not comfortable. I use either a 3.75 millimeter hook or a 3.5 millimeter hook. As you can see, there's my 3.75 and here's my 350. They've both got worn down spots where my fingers have rubbed off the finish on the aluminum because I use them so much. I've made a bunch of these halter tops, so hopefully my advice here is useful to you. Today I'm using the 3.75. All of these are made with the 3.75. I chose that just to speed the process along a little bit to make this tutorial. I normally like the 350 for bikinis and halters because the stitch is just a little bit tighter, you know, so you don't show through as much, but 3.75 is also good. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna take my worsted weight cotton and I'm gonna chain 12 That's 10 for the foundation stitches plus 2 chain stitches to turn. I'm using 2 chain stitches to turn at the end because it's half double crochet. If it was single crochet, I would only add 1 extra chain to turn. I might even do that for half double. For double crochet, you would add 2 or 3. Here we go. Here's my extra 2 chain stitches. They don't count as the first half double. To start my first half double, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. Here I'm working my half double, and then I'm going to work in every other chain stitch in this foundation chain. So that's 9 more chain stitches. I'm going to work a half double into each one. Now that I've finished my initial 10 foundation stitches, so I have 10 stitches here worked into a foundation chain. That extra 2 chain stitches is going to be where I'm going to turn and place my increases, or rotate and place my increases. Now, a normal bikini cup, for a long time I worked just the foundation chain, and I did my rotation at the end of the foundation chain. So I would work up the chain, and then I would place my increase here at this end and rotate and work down around the other side. I actually like this method just slightly better. Instead, we're going to turn at the end of this row and use the single row of 10 stitches as the foundation instead of the chain as the foundation. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're gonna, this counts as row 1. The row we just did was a foundation row. So row 1, we're going to chain 1 and turn, 1 half double crochet in the same stitch because the chain 1 does not count as the first stitch. 1 half double crochet in each of the next 9 stitches. So all the way back across the row. So we've worked back across our row. We are at the point where we have the 2 extra chain stitches from the initial foundation chain. So the bikini cup is shaped by we form this central row that goes up the center. And then we turn and work back across, so you're where my finger is, and then here at the tip of the row, we work 2 half double, 1 chain, and another 2 half double, and that's into those extra chain stitches we worked at the beginning. So here we've worked back across our foundation row, and here's our 2 chains that we're going to rotate the work. We're going to place our increase there. So we've got half double, another half double, chain 1, another half double, and then a 4th half double, all in that same space created by those 2 extra chain stitches. And that's the increase that starts to shape your cup. When working into these chain stitches, since I've got 2 chains, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna kind of catch the stitch beneath it, because it makes kind of a large hole right there where you don't really want a large hole. So in an effort to minimize the hole there, I'm gonna go back and work those stitches again. I'm gonna kind of catch the stitch below to tighten it up. That's sort of a finicky, detail-oriented thing. It doesn't make that big of a difference. Okay, but as long as you have an increase there, that is +4. We're going to rotate the piece and continue working into the free loops on the opposite side of the unworked side of the chain stitches. So you can see one little loop sticking up left over from when we worked the initial chain foundation. We're just going to work a half double in each of those loops. Here I am. I slowed it down a little bit. Hopefully that's easier to see. So here's the foundation row and row 1 completed. I'm going to turn and work back across the cup, and to turn I'm going to chain 1. Chain 1 here, and that's the turning chain. Again, it doesn't count as the first half double. And we turn and work back toward the increases. So we've got, here's our foundation row and our row 1. Now we're just going to work back and forth across the cup, turning at the end of every row and placing the increase in the chain 1 space from the increase in the row before. Here I'm going to start over again. I think at some point I messed up and I had to pull it out. So once more, we're going to chain 1 to turn this. Here we go. Working back and forth. Chain 1. Half double crochet in the same stitch. Half double crochet in each of the next 11 stitches. So in every stitch until you reach the chain 1 space from the increase of the row below. More than likely, the stitch right before your chain 1 space is going to be tight, so don't miss that one. I do commonly miss that one, so just count carefully. And then in the chain 1, you'll work 2 half double, 1 chain, and 2 half double. It's the same increase style on every row, and it's always worked into the chain 1 space. Once you've done that, you can work 1 half double in each of the next 12 stitches. So there's 12 stitches on either side of this row, plus 4 half doubles and a chain 1 at the increase center. The row end stitch counts don't count the chain 1. I just don't find it necessary to count them, so I don't include them in the stitch counts. Here we go. I'm at the end of the row. I've got my 12 half double. My cup has 1 foundation row and then 2 rows of stitching so far. I'm counting my stitches. And it's really starting to take shape. And from here, the math is pretty easy. You can just keep doing the same thing, 1 half double in every stitch, and then work the increase in the chain 1 of the row below. So for this row, we're going to work in each of the next 13 stitches. We're going to do 2 half doubles, chain 1, 2 half doubles for the increase, and then work down the other side. When we get to the end, chain 1, turn, same deal, yada yada. It's pretty simple once you get the mechanics of it down. The reason I wanted to put this together really was because there's so many different ways you can manipulate the shape and size and proportion of the cup to make so many different looks and find the right, most comfortable fit for you or for whoever you're making it for. That I just wanted to make a bunch of examples so I could lay it out and as be kind of a good quick reference, especially for me. I will use it as a quick reference for sure. So hopefully it's helpful. I'm going to go ahead and make this pair of cups to 6 rows. It's slightly small, but I'm going to expand it through the way that I put the cups together. And in video 2, I'm going to have just a little demo of how I design the halter tops and shape them. It's guesswork, a lot of it. Spoiler alert, I rip out the yarn a lot. But it's a really good way to practice your kind of creativity and experiment and not feel tied down to like doing things a completely one way, which I'm all about freeform. I don't know if you noticed. So I'm putting the finishing touches on my 6th row, and I'm gonna show it here. That's about good for the size. I'll cut the yarn, tie off. I'll make a second one, of course, because you need 2. And then I put mine together. And this one I did with the bottom part is a crocodile stitch piece, kind of based on another pattern of mine, the feather and scale halter top. It's like a fringed crocodile stitch halter bottom. And then I worked a row of crocheted shells across the top. I left a little peekaboo there in the middle. As you can see, I added fringe, and for this one I used t-shirt yarn ties. It was so much fun. I hope that you are inspired to make your own, and stay tuned for my second video where I go into the freeform methods a little bit. And be sure to follow the links on the bottom. There's plenty of free patterns and tutorials on my blog. Thanks.